guys, it's Annie Margarita Yang back with another video for you today. Today is Monday, February 26, 2024. I'm so sorry, I've been away. I kind of disappeared on YouTube last week, and the reason is because I was sick for much of the week, and I was sick for I think 7 whole days, and then by the time I got better, I had so much work to catch up on that I didn't come back to make any videos when I did get better because I had so much work to catch up on. But I'm all better now. Some people messaged me on Signal asking me why I disappeared, and that's basically what happened. I'm glad to see people actually care about me and reach out to me personally to wonder what's going on. So today I want to talk about what to do if you are stuck in a job that just sucks the life out of you. So I'm still working with Peter. If you guys have been watching the videos, then you'll know that Peter was someone that I was helping with his job search. I was doing his coaching for him. And he was unemployed for 6 months, and then he finally did get a job offer as an Oracle database administrator. But his real passion is actually doing magic. So he's 70 years old. He works as a database administrator, but his real passion being magic, he wants to actually still turn this into a career. He doesn't plan on ever retiring. He still wants to earn money, make a living from doing magic tricks, basically. And we've been figuring out a way, making a plan for him to turn his passion into something that he can actually earn a living from, so that he can stop doing this IT stuff that he just doesn't like. And he started the job, right? And some of the things with the company, even though it's remote, it has some micromanagement going on. And he asked me, what do I do if you're asking me to make 2 TikTok videos a week, three TikTok videos a week, and my job just sucks the life out of me so much, to the point I work from 8 a.m. to 4:30, and then by the time it's 4:30, I am just so emotionally and mentally drained. I really don't have any energy whatsoever to dedicate toward my actual dreams, the things that I want to do, which is the TikTok and the magic. And the only day I actually have the energy to do the magic tricks for TikTok is on Saturday, when I don't have to work. So he asked me what do I do? I mean, I'm just so emotionally drained from the job. It's not physically demanding because he's typing at the computer, but it's just mentally and emotionally draining. It's sucking the life out of him. And this is what I told him. So I'm gonna give you guys the advice as well in case you're struggling with this. So I had a job that sucked the life out of me. This was a 9 to 5 in person in the office job, where I had to commute with 2 different buses to get to work on time. And this was about 5 years ago, okay? This is when I was more active on YouTube and I was posting at least once a week and editing my videos. Now I don't edit the videos. So back then, when I was at this very toxic job, it just sucked the life out of me. By the time it was 5 o'clock and I went home, I just didn't want to do anything else. Right? But I still have my dreams. I don't want to give up on my dreams. So what I told my friend that I would do is, you know what? I'm not letting anything stop me, because if I'm really good at managing my time and managing my energy, I think anything is still possible. So what I would do is I would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I would get on the bus to get to work at 6:45. Take 2 buses. Then at 7:30, the bus stop stops me right in front of a local cafe or ice cream store kind of place. They had, coffee, breakfast foods, and ice cream. And they had a lot of tables where you could sit down. So at 7:30, I would walk into there, and then I would order a $2 cup of hot tea. Why did I order a $2 cup of hot tea? Because it was the cheapest item on their menu. And I didn't want to spend a lot. I'm the kind of person, I'm on my channel telling you guys not to buy a $5 cup of coffee from Starbucks. So here I am, I'm spending $2 on a cup of tea, I'm not buying the tea because I enjoy drinking tea. I'm buying the tea because I want to have the right to sit down at the cafe to work. So from 7:30 a.m., I'd enter there, I'd ask for a cup of hot tea, which is really easy. They don't have to make it. They just grab a tea bag and they just fill a cup with hot water and they say, here you go, $2, right? So there was no waiting time whatsoever. Then I would proceed to sit down at one of those tables, plug in my laptop charger, turn on my laptop, and I would start working. During that time from 7:30 to 8:50 in the morning. So 8:50 in the morning, that's when I would shut down my computer and I would start walking to work. I timed it such that by the time if I start walking at 8:50, I would get to the office at exactly 8:59 a.m., right? So from 7:30 to 8:50, that's when I was planning out what YouTube videos I would work on for the week, what potential topics. I would do my SEO research for future video topics. I would do the research for what I was going to say in the videos themselves. Then I would write the script, and then I would edit the previous week's video that I recorded on Saturday or Sunday. And then I would also upload the video and schedule it, right? So that time was my time, right? I spent that time working on my stuff because I'm a priority in my life. I refuse to make my job and building someone else's dream a priority, right? So that way, first thing in the morning, what's really important is not the amount of time that you necessarily spend. That's important as well, but the consistency. If you work on building your dream every single day, bit by bit, that will be the thing that builds up your dream. And then what's the second most important thing after consistency is the fact that you spend a lot of focused time. It's about how focused you are, because if you think about it, so I spent 1 hour and 20 minutes Monday to Friday every day just for my own dream. That was a highly focused time because nobody was bothering me. Nobody's emailing me at 7:30 in the morning about something that they need from me. Nobody's calling me. Nobody at the cafe is walking up to talk to me. The cafe was completely empty. Like nobody is hanging out at the cafe at 7:30 in the morning. Everyone is just going in and out to get their coffee and then they head to work. They're just like rushing to go to work. I was the only one at the cafe at 7:30 the entire time. And I got a lot of work done because nobody was interrupting me and I knew exactly what I wanted to work on that day. I wasn't like at 7:30 like twiddling my thumbs and wondering like, oh, what should I work on today? Like no, like I already planned for the week. I'm gonna do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, this on Thursday, this on Friday. Like it was already planned out so that by the time I sat down, I knew exactly what I was going to do. And this time is actually a lot more special. It's a lot more valuable and you get a lot more productivity out of it than just an hour and a half that you would typically spend later in your day. And the reason I say this is because later in the day, you would have so many more distractions. What's important is your mental focus, right? If you're later in the day, so many things happen. You might get a call from your mom like, oh, this just happened. I need you to blah, blah, blah. You might get a call from your husband. You might be on a time crunch. You might be thinking, oh, I have to wrap this up real quick because I have to go buy groceries. I have to do my laundry today, right? So you have like so many mental distractions, not just physical, but mental distractions that will really like destroy your attention. So if you put yourself first for an hour and a half to 2 hours, first thing in the morning, to building your dream so that you could leave your soul-sucking job and actually make a living from your passion. If you just do that bit by bit, you will turn your passion into a career that you really love. Like that was what I really had to do in the beginning. Now I'm so lucky that I get to work from home. I have a really flexible schedule. I get to work anytime that I want. I have errands that I need to run, then I do them any time of the day. I have so much flexibility in my day, but I didn't used to have that. I used to work in a 9-to-5 in-person, in the office job where I had to commute 45 to 50 minutes each way, right? So I somehow still managed to make it work. And doing that, like going into the cafe, I never shared the story. Like I never shared the story publicly with anyone because I always told people like, don't spend $5 a day on coffee. And here I was spending $2 a day buying a cup of tea every morning, 5 days a week. So how much is that? If you have four 4 working weeks, 5 days times, no, 5 days times 2 is $10 a week, right? So I was spending like $40 a month, $40 a month. So times that by 12 months, yeah, about $360 a year just on hot tea so that I could sit down in a cafe to work. And I never shared this story because, you know, I didn't want people to judge me and go like, well, you're telling people to do this thing and then you're actually here doing this thing. But I mean, I kind of justify it. Like I considered that that hot tea that I bought as like my rent. It's like the equivalent of a rent expense. I only paid that because I needed a quiet area where I could sit down and really get to work. So it's not really about the drink. It was more about the space. And I think that's very cheap to just have a really quiet space to work where no one can bother you. And it was important that I did that instead of like doing an hour and a half of work in the morning at home and then taking the bus, because if I leave like just at maybe 8 o'clock, there's no guarantee with all the rush hour traffic that I would get to work on time. You know, rush hour traffic was much less worse at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. Not everyone is up yet, so the bus was a lot more empty. I could actually get a seat on the bus, but if I took the bus at 8, that bus is packed full. I might not even get on the bus because it's so full. And then that would proceed to me getting to work late. And then I remember very specifically, because of the way I did this routine and the way I was able to time getting to work on time every single day at 8:59 on the dot, my boss asked me, he was like, my gosh, how do you time the bus so well? Did you like somehow master the public transportation system in Boston? And no, it was just because I worked at the cafe in the morning. He later offered me to he said, hey, if you want, you know, you can actually work here in the office at whatever time you get here, and then you could work on your own stuff until 9 a.m. And then at 9 a.m. you can start doing the stuff for me. But I actually much preferred working at the cafe because I didn't want my coworkers to look at me and go like, oh, well, she's getting here this time every morning, then I have to get here to the office this time every morning. Or, oh, why is she showing up to work so early? Is she trying to be the boss's favorite, you know, like kind of like a teacher's pet kind of thing, where she's trying to, you know, gain the boss's favor because she gets to work. When, you know, I really don't want people in the office to know my business, to really know how I spend my morning, which is on my own stuff, building my own dreams. So that's why I did it that way instead of taking up my boss's offer of arriving at the office earlier and spending time in the office until 9 a.m. on my own stuff. And then at 9 o'clock, I can start working on his stuff. So that's something I remember very specifically. This is actually a story in the book where I talk about there was a snowstorm. And my boss, knowing that I take 2 buses to get to work, he thought that I would actually walk into work late because there was a snowstorm where I think it was at least 8 inches, right? But I still walked into the office at 8:59 a.m. And he's like, how on earth do you do it? And then I was like, I got to the area, I'm already in the area at 7:30. And he was like, oh, I didn't even know, because at that point he didn't know that I was doing this. So that's the benefit. I guess people see you as someone who's really punctual and reliable. It's a tip that I have for you guys. Another tip, if this doesn't work, so that used to work for me back then, right? It doesn't really work for my lifestyle today because my lifestyle is a lot more flexible and I get to choose the time. I get to choose what time I wake up. And honestly, I think waking up at 6:30 is just way too early for me. So what I do is I'll spend the first half of the day, so I guess all the way up until 5 o'clock, I'll work on the important stuff. I'll work on stuff for my job, stuff for my clients, and then from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock is nap time, because I spend so much time focused, my thoughts go 100 miles a minute, you know. I spend so much time focused that by the end of the day, by this 5 o'clock, my brain is so drained, I have to admit, that I have to take a nap. So just even today, right? Right now is 10:20 p.m. Eastern time, right? Today, I took a nap from 5:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock a.m. Oh, no, a.m. 5:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. So I took a 1.5 hour nap. And then from 7 to 8, do laundry or other things that I need to do. And 8 o'clock to 9 is dinner time, dishes and things like that. And then here I am, it's about 10 p.m. right now. I'm making the video, and then after I make this video and upload it, it's time for me to practice piano. And then after I practice piano, then I can shower and go to bed. So basically, I break up my day into like 2 parts. One part is all the stuff that I need to do. The second part is, after the nap time, that's when I'm building my dream. I have to do it this way because I have to get on podcasts still for like all hours of the day. Thankfully, I only have 10 more interviews to go. So once I'm done with all the interviews, I can go back to having a nice structured morning routine. Just like when I used to wake up at 6:30 a.m., right? So I can go back to that morning routine where I would practice piano in the morning. But this is all, this is my advice for how to get out of that soul-sucking job. I mean, look, you can easily look for another job, right? You can do the 5-day job search and apply for another job. But really, this advice is for people who have a job, who hate their job, and want to work for themselves, who want to build a business, build a whole lifestyle for themselves, a career that they really enjoy, right? So for Peter, that's doing magic. Doing magic is not a job. That's something you do as like a self-employed individual. There's no such thing as a job as just doing magic. Maybe you might get a job selling products at a magic store. That's a job, but he wants to be the one actually doing the entertaining, and that's not a job. That's a form of self-employment. And to be able to do something like that, that would require you to have a full-time job that you don't necessarily like, that will pay your bills. In the meantime, you spend the time after work to actually build your dream. So this is really advice for those people. I mean, if you hate your job and you never want to dream of having something on the side where you're actually building the things that you're passionate about so that you can quit and have the financial freedom that you're looking for, where you can stick it to the man and have a lot more leeway, a lot more say in your own career, because you don't have one person dictating your future, and instead you're just okay with having a job, then yeah, just do the 5-day job search and find a new job. But I'm sure a lot of people watching this channel, these videos, they want to build their passion. I mean, that's ideally what a lot of people want. It's difficult, but I would say it's worth it. So, what I remind myself all the time when I catch myself complaining about being really busy and being limited on time and not having time is I remind myself of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I watched the movie. I don't remember what the movie name was, but it was the main role was starred by, I think, Felicity Jones, I think it was. And then I read Ruth Bader Ginsburg's story of how during her time at Harvard Law School, so this is insane. Look at her story. She was a Harvard Law School student, married to Marty, who was also a Harvard Law School student, and they had a baby while she was going to Harvard Law School. And then I think during their first year at Harvard Law School, Marty was diagnosed with cancer. So not only did she have to take care of the baby, she had to take care of her husband, who was going under cancer treatment. She had to go to his classes and take notes for him. And then because he was bedridden and he couldn't type his own papers, he would dictate the paper to her and she would type it on the typewriter for him so that he could have that ready for class. And then she would, after he goes to bed and puts her baby to sleep, then she would proceed to do her own assignments. So she was doing basically 2 Harvard Law School student assignments, basically going to two persons worth of classes and taking care of a fully grown adult and a baby. And she somehow managed to do all of that. And we all have 24 hours in a day. So if she managed to do that, and she's the kind of woman that doesn't complain, why can't you do that, right? So every time I catch myself, I'm about to complain about being too busy and how I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. I think of her. And I think, you know what? She's a girl from Brooklyn, and if I'm just like her, born and raised in Brooklyn, I need to have a thicker skin. So that's why I try my best not to ever complain about all the things that I have on my plate. I just think of her and then I just shut my mouth. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you have a good night and I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, there's a lot of censorship going on the internet these days. So if you really want to stay in touch with me, I highly encourage you to download the Signal app on your phone. Signal is end-to-end encrypted, so the government cannot read the messages between you and me. Add my personal cell phone number. It's 806-544-2929. And then just let me know your full name and your city and state, or your city and country. And then I'll add you to my address book. That's it for now, and see you guys tomorrow.